Greetings, I am Louie, the unsophisticated sophist. Pour yourself a drink, lower your expectations for humanity, and please join me as I attempt to unpick the bleak absurdity of our modern political circus.
Earlier this week at the White House, I met a wonderful woman named Sharon Simmons, a grandmother driving Doordash.
Today, we take a look at a shameful display from the world's most stable genius. As he takes a break from Epstein fury, his illegal and completely unplanned war of terror against Iran, to remind us all how he has already targeted some of the most vulnerable members of American society with grossly incompetent economic policies, making their lives exponentially worse. Trump's so-called Big Beautiful Bill was nothing more than a calculated wealth transfer from the working class to the ultra-elite. Making the 2017 tax cuts permanent will blow a $4.6 trillion hole in the U.S. government over the next decade. And who benefits? The top 0.1%. They stand to pocket hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, vastly outpacing any crumbs thrown to lower and middle-class Americans, knowing that a massive handout to billionaires would be a hard sell, even to a demographic thoroughly accustomed to voting against its own interests. Trump knew he needed to give his propaganda minions a distraction. Something shiny to jangle like keys to keep the masses mesmerized while he picks their pockets to fuel his gold-plated Saudi bribe. Enter the deluded narcissist-in-chief and his No Tax on Tips Act, launched via a god-awful stunt that demeaned us all.
Nice to see you.
Nice to meet you. I have your Doordash. You want to record you, Mr. President?
That's right. Look at this. This doesn't look staged, does it?
They're all your favorites.
That's good. These are good. Doordash is doing a good job. So, the reason for this is the fact that I heard you picked up an extra $11,000 that you didn't get because the tax bill was so big, the great big beautiful bill. And that doesn't include overtime in your case. You're really nice. Would you like to do a little news conference with me with these people? These are not the nicest people. They're not nice like you. You know that, right?
I'll do whatever you ask me to do, sir.
I heard you're a great supporter. We appreciate it. I'll put this over here. And why don't we have a news conference with the press?
One can only assume this was an earnest attempt to make Trump look warm, relatable, and human. Unsurprisingly, this grotesque little pantomime has had its critics, though ironically, the most scathing review came from inside the House.
Sharon delivered McDonald's to the Oval Office. It was a little bit of a, to be honest, it was a little tacky.
Let us dispense with the polite euphemisms for a second. When he says tacky, what he actually means is an absolute masterclass in human degradation. It is a reminder that there is no level of desperation he won't happily exploit, just to turn it into his own personal campaign confetti. The whole thing was engineered to be easy political comfort food. Trump, McDonald's, Doordash, and a smiling delivery grandma. Heartwarming, right?
Wrong.
Sadly, it seems she's grinding in the gig economy because her husband is battling cancer and they need the cash for his treatment. A grandmother, in the wealthiest nation on earth, door-dashing to pay for chemo. And she receives what is likely the first tip Trump has ever handed out in his life. $100 from the exact man who fought tooth and nail to strip away the Affordable Care Act. He's handing her pocket change after trying to destroy the safety net that might have saved her from this dreadful pantomime, starring an emperor showing off his finest garments. That's not a heartwarming viral moment. It is a bleak showcase of the wealth inequality that Trump and his billionaire donors are aggressively maximizing. This should be a national scandal. Let us examine the sheer, unadulterated rot at the core of this spectacle, starting with the American healthcare system. According to the Kaiser Family Foundation, 41% of Americans are currently drowning in medical debt. Cancer treatments routinely drain upwards of $10,000 a month from families who mistakenly believe their health insurance would actually insure their health. In any civilized nation, forcing an elderly woman back into the labor market to keep her dying husband alive would be viewed as a profound humanitarian failure. Here, it is just a Tuesday. We have engineered a society where a terminal diagnosis comes with a mandatory side hustle. And Donald Trump has the staggering audacity to stand in the middle of this wreckage and grin, as if he's the one who cured the disease. That makes some twisted sort of sense. Why would a man who utilized his propaganda tool, the Ministry of Truth Social, to post a Christ-like image of himself, bother with actual healthcare reform? Indeed, who needs expensive immunotherapy when you can bathe in the magical healing glow of the Savior reborn? His Messiah complex has fully detached from reality, leaving this poor woman on a wing and a prayer, dependent on the generosity of Stone students by attending to their junk food requirements. Which brings us neatly to the grotesque mechanism of that generosity, the uniquely American extortion racket we call the gig economy. Because this woman is classified as an independent contractor, Doordash is legally exempt from paying her a minimum wage. They can toss her a base pay of just $2 to ferry a greasy bag of food across town, entirely shifting the burden of her survival onto the conscience of the consumer. We are fed this lie that the gig economy is about freedom and flexibility. In reality, it is a brilliantly executed corporate grift. When you are a grandmother delivering McDonald's to pay for chemotherapy, a tip is not a charming reward for good service. It is life support. It is the fraying thread keeping her family out of the abyss. And what does our former president do when confronted with this systemic terror? He tosses a single $100 bill at it. He weaponizes a family's financial ruin, transforming their desperation into a cheap prop for his own vanity. And finally, the grand delusion itself, the so-called no tax on tips policy. Even if we pretend to take this hollow gimmick seriously, it is little more than a mathematically insulting distraction. Shielding a few stray dollars in a tip jar from the IRS is less than a rounding error against the $300 billion of medical bankruptcies Americans face every single year. It does not lower the cost of chemotherapy. It does not fix the precarity of the gig economy. And it certainly does not allow a grandmother to sit by her sick husband's bedside instead of ferrying fast food to strangers.
This entire spectacle was manufactured to be uplifting political fluff. But the briefest analysis uncovers the truth. And what remains is a deeply sinister piece of propaganda. Donald Trump gazed upon a citizen suffocating under the weight of medical debt and gig economy servitude, and saw nothing but a mirror for his own vanity. He is no champion of the working class. He is a parasitic showman, handing a $100 tip to a hostage of the system. He is a gilded charlatan feeding off their misery, tossing spare change into a grave he helped dig.
I am Louie, the unsophisticated sophist. Thank you for enduring reality with me today. Leave your thoughts in the comments. Is Donald Trump a bumbling idiot, a vainglorious parasite, or is he a cruel, heartless monster? Hit like and subscribe if you haven't completely lost the will to live, and I will see you in the next one.